Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of Cosmos, a series in which I introduce you cool astronomers. Don't forget to subscribe, put a like and write your idea or suggestion in the comments below. In this episode we have the System of Ptolemy. Remember him from the last video, don't you? If not, go and see the previous episode, link in the description, then come back here. At Ptolemy's time, the known planets were Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. These planets with the moon, that nowadays is known as the satellite of the Earth and not a planet, and the sun, that is a star but it wasn't clear yet, were the only celestial bodies that their position in the sky changed periodically compared to the stars. The stars always remained in the same way, or it seems so, but they moved all together in the sky, like they were stuck in a sphere. Ptolemy established that every celestial body revolved around the Earth in a circular orbit in this order. The Moon, the nearest to us, followed by Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, surrounded by a sphere with the fixed stars. If we put ourselves in his shoes and we consider the knowledge of that period, we cannot blame him for putting the Earth fixed in the center of everything. I imagine him saying, "The wind, how strong would it be if the Earth moved?" One of the valid points about the System of Ptolemy was that if the Earth moved, the stars would have moved due to an effect called parallax. You can easily understand it by moving your head to left and right and see that the position of an object changes compared to the landmark in the background. The same thing should have happened with the stars due to the movement of the Earth. It didn't happen though. Aristarchus, we saw him in the first episode, had proposed the correct explanation. The stars are too far that the movement caused by the parallax is very little. The distance of Aristarchus' calculations seemed enormous for the era and were rejected. Today we know that he was right. In addition, we are able to measure those movements caused by the parallax. Also use them when possible for measuring the distance of the stars. The System of Ptolemy therefore resulted to be irreproachable. The thing that wasn't right were the planets' movements. If they had moved in equal circles, they should have passed in the sky always in the same direction. Instead, the movement seemed to stop sometimes, then move, stop, and again move from the initial direction. Nowadays we know the truth, and these retrograde motions are easy to understand. The Earth moves like the other planets, so sometimes seems to surpass them and sometimes seems to be surpassed. In the System of Ptolemy, the explanation was twisted. Every planet revolved in a circular orbit called epicycle. This orbit didn't have the Earth as its center. Instead, it had an empty spot, and it was this spot that revolved around the Earth in a circular orbit called different. It's easy, isn't it? Okay, for complicating the concept, the center of the different wasn't the Earth, it was an empty spot called eccentric that was between the Earth and the equant. The orbit of the different moved in an equal velocity if it had seen from the equant. In the end, even the eccentric could move in a circular orbit. All the structure was quite bizarre, and the amount of circles needed to create this abomination were on less than 40. The observation of the planet's movements, the retrograde motions, the alternation of velocity, and the other stuff were satisfactory.